Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be talking about the San Francisco 49ers. It is shaping up to be a beautiful, exhilarating championship weekend here. You have the Niners taking on the Eagles, the Bengals, and the Chiefs. All four of those teams are combined 34-3, which is the best record ever over the previous 10 weekends for the four teams playing on Championship Sunday. So, as a competitor, I'm sure the Niners and the Eagles are extremely excited and they're licking their chops at the ability to play in this game, the chance to get into the Super Bowl. Now, the Niners storyline is really cool, but I will say the Philadelphia Eagles storyline is also very cool. Jalen Hurts' story it's extremely inspiring. I absolutely love it. Now, we'll talk about a little bit of everything in today's video, more so focused on Philadelphia and how San Francisco can take them down. And I want to get the video started with this. Philadelphia is a really talented football team. Obviously the number one team in the NFC, 14-3, but Jalen did get injured a couple of weeks ago, but in general this team they've been slacking just a little bit. All right? And keep in mind, Jalen was injured for the last couple of weeks, but you still lost to the Saints. You scraped by the Giants. You lost to Dallas in a shootout, 34-40. But they absolutely blew out the New York Giants this past Saturday, 38-7. Now, I got to pick my words carefully here because this is not a Philadelphia Eagle diss video by any means. Like, genuinely, just as a football fan, I'm a Packer fan, I want this to be as good of a game as possible. But it's going to come down to two things for San Francisco. It's going to come down to the turnover battle. I know that sounds redundant. And it's going to come down to running the football. All right, but before we get any further into tonight's video, if you guys enjoyed, be sure to hit the like button, hit that sub button. I'm posting daily Niners content at this point in the season, so if we could get this video to 1,000 likes, that would be absolutely life-changing. So I appreciate you guys so much, regardless of how the video does. Niners fans, you guys have blessed this channel in the last month or two. Now, speaking of which, the Eagles have allowed over 100 rushing yards 13 times this past season. San Francisco and their number one ranked defense, they have allowed over 100 rushing yards just 5 times. In fact, the 49ers have allowed a score on just 26.6% of drives this season. Now, just kind of at face value, that number may sound a little bit high. It's actually the lowest in the NFL since 2019. Now, no matter what article I read, no matter who I listen to, the biggest weakness, quote-unquote, is Mr. Brock Purdy. That's it. It's as simple as that. I don't know what else this man needs to do. Apparently, it's win a road playoff game, and to be honest with you, that makes sense. I can't necessarily disagree with that. He had over 300 passing yards against the Seattle Seahawks. But the diss to that game was they were short passes and a lot of them were yards after catch. I don't agree with that. Against Dallas, a top 5 defense in the National Football League, the critique heading into that game was, oh yeah, Brock Purdy, even though he's the 7th round pick and a 3rd stringer, he has not taken down a top 5 defense. All right, well, you can't pick your schedule. He threw for a quote-unquote modest 214 yards and didn't throw a touchdown pass, but hey, what did they do? They won the game. Brock Purdy is doing more than I need him to do. Now, Philadelphia, they led the NFC with 28.1 points per game. Their defense is talented. I will say that. But like I said, in general, I think this team has been slacking a little bit since their perfect 8-0 start to the year. Now, these are the two best teams in the NFC. Do not get that twisted. Once again, I respect Philadelphia 100%. I'm a Packers fan. I saw Colin Kaepernick ripping my team to shreds highlight reel earlier today. I was not necessarily pleased with it, but San Francisco is winning this football game. All right? It's as simple as that. They're winning the football game. All right? And once again, Eagles fans, I hope you guys can respect that because I've actually seen a bunch of Niners fans say, yeah, the Eagles are winning. We don't stand a chance, and it's going to be because of Brock Purdy. And I can understand that because I even think back to if the Packers took down the Lions in the last week of the season, I'm thinking to myself, we have a shot. But I'm saying out loud, yeah, the Niners are clearly going to destroy us. But deep down, I'm thinking, we're going to win this game. All right, that's just kind of what being a fan is all about. The Eagles, they do have several advantages in this football game, specifically home field advantage. Now, I would argue the fact that ever since, I don't know, my teenage years, somewhere around like the early 2010s, I don't think home field advantage rings true the same as it used to. I genuinely don't. I really don't think it's that big of a deal. Now, Philadelphia, not only football, but in general, the city, they love their sports. And I'm sure a lot of Niners fans would feel comfortable if the game was in San Francisco. The Eagles this season, they have technically, statistically, the better third down offense, the better third down defense, the better red zone offense, the better red zone defense. I'm taking it all with a grain of salt. All right. Jimmy G, he had a great season, but Brock Purdy has been undefeated as a starter. He's been undefeated. So it's hard for you to really take any statistics at face value when looking at San Francisco outside of maybe their defense, because they've seen twists and turns. Trey Lance started the season, right? So it's just statistics with their offense that are a little bit skewed, in my opinion. Now, Jalen Hurts had a really nice season. I don't think it was at the end of the day, I have a hard time with this, and I'm so sorry once again if Eagles fans are watching this video, because I seriously don't mean any disrespect. Jalen Hurts has one of the coolest stories in the National Football League. Jalen Hurts led his team this season starting to 14-1, but all the time I hear that win-loss and wins in general aren't necessarily due to the quarterback. So I hear that he led them to a 14-1 record. I feel like that kind of discredits their phenomenal defense, and I don't know, 22 touchdowns throwing, 6 interceptions is very impressive, but like even just statistically, Jimmy G, before he got injured, had a very similar stat line. 247 yards per game throwing, but he does have a huge rushing threat. And that is going to be a big difference maker with San Francisco. At the end of the day, you can try and stop Jalen all day. He had 13 rushing touchdowns for a quarterback. 760 yards for a quarterback. He's going to do what he wants to do for the most part. And that's why I go back to the beginning of this video where I think turnovers and rushing win you this football game. All right? And that's something that me personally, ever since this win streak, honestly, hence San Francisco's number 1 ranked defense, that's what I've noticed with this team. They cause turnovers. So yeah, he's going to throw the ball a little bit. He's going to run the ball a little bit. But what's San Francisco's defense going to do? I think they're going to react with some turnovers. Now, the rushing attack is something I mentioned at the beginning of this video, but it also comes down to just turnovers in general. They just took down the Dallas Cowboys 19-12. It wasn't pretty. It wasn't sexy by any means. But they caused 2 interceptions to Dak Prescott. Brock didn't throw an interception. The running game wasn't magnificent, and that's why I heavily anticipate more Deebo Samuel in the backfield and just in general running, whether it's motion or what have you, if he's back there in the backfield. But I anticipate Elijah Mitchell to have a heavy dose in this game. 14 carries, 51 yards. To me, the secret sauce taking down Philadelphia. They've given up a bunch of 100-plus rushing yards, like we said. Run Elijah all first half. Second half, continue to run Elijah, but obviously don't forget about CMC, but second half more so focused on CMC. I feel so good about the San Francisco 49ers in this football game. And Philadelphia, to me, it's a really cool team. Like, they're just a really cool team. I know they took down my team earlier this season, but the Packers didn't have a good year, and this isn't a Packers video. Like, I have a hard time looking at holes with San Francisco, and I also have a hard time looking at holes for Philadelphia. But at the end of the day, I think San Francisco is going to capitalize more on the weaknesses of their opposing team. I just genuinely find that true. Until I have reason to doubt Brock Purdy, I'm not going to doubt him. It's as clear as day. It's really as simple as that. Both teams are extremely well coached on the offense, defense, head coach, top to bottom management. These are the 2 best teams in the NFC. It's going to be a great football game. So hit that like button. Let's try and get 1,000 likes on today's video. Go ahead, drop a sub if you enjoy it. And more importantly, whether you're Eagles or Niners fan, drop some comments down below. I can't wait to hear from you guys.